in. Come on in. I hope you're having a wonderful week. We are almost to Friday, one more day. So, we got some great trending topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you are not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and here on this channel, you're going to get pop culture with personality and Aries energy in every review. Tonight's topics are some really good ones. They've been trending, some things that caught my attention. So I wanted to come on and discuss them with my Aries crew. You know the drill if you've been on the live before. If you are a returning Aries crew member, leave hashtag Aries crew in the comments. I'm going to give you a shout out for stopping by. If you are a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your day here on the live. If you can like the video as you come in, greatly appreciated. Goes a long way, and it's a free way to support the channel. So let's get into what we are going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about Diddy. He has rejected a plea deal from the federal prosecutors. So we're going to talk about the trial that's scheduled to start next week and what that means since the plea deal was not accepted. We're also going to talk about Nick Cannon. One of the mother of his kids is coming out making some comments about him. So we're going to look into that. I believe Nick Cannon has 12 or 13 kids by different women. So we'll see what this one is saying in particular. It's Alyssa Scott. And then we're going to talk about Kanye West. He has plans to sue his former dentist. And we're also going to talk about John Elway, the football legend. His friend and agent recently passed away, and I believe it was involving an accident, and John Elway was on the cart or the vehicle along with them. So we're going to talk about that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into our topics. Our first one tonight is going to be about Kanye West. And this is going to be reporting from TMZ that we're getting this story from. Kanye West is gearing up to sue his former dentist, claiming he suffered injuries and financial damages due to alleged reckless administration of nitrous oxide. So, if I remember correctly, from the times that I've been to the dentist, I think that is called laughing gas, and that's something that they put a mask over your face to take, and it's generally administered if you're doing some type of procedure, dental procedure that may require you either go to sleep or it's some kind of a anesthetic, I believe. And it says the rapper's legal team, headed by Andrew Cherkasky, sent a notice of intention to sue to Dr. Thomas P. Connolly, who they say became Ye's dentist in early 2024. Ye's team claims that while he was under Connolly's care, the dentist engaged in numerous inappropriate and dangerous practices that were far outside the bounds of legitimate medical purpose or standard of care. All right, so we're going to take a quick pause here to give some shout outs. We have X Demon on the line and Vaseline. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know how your day is going in the comments, and let me know if you are a member of the Aries crew by saying hashtag Aries crew or first time watcher. Leave first time watcher in the comments. And let's pick up here on the story. Among this alleged inappropriate behavior, Ye's side claims Connolly gave him excessive amounts of nitrous oxide for non-medical purposes, permitting and encouraging unsupervised self-administration of the gas and continuing treatment despite adverse neurological and behavioral signs. We're going to take a quick pause here. We got Claude Mills. Hi. Thank you so much for being on the live. All right. So my day is going pretty well. Thank you for asking. How about yourself? And then I want to get some feedback here. So let me know, because Ye has been doing some real interesting things in the news for the past months, even really years at this point. When you see him, it's not always tied to really good stories or model behavior per se. So do you think some of his episodes that he's been having, some of the comments he's been saying online, his love of Hitler, and wearing that particular symbol or encouraging people to wear the symbol that's tied to that person, do you think that that has something to do with this nitrous oxide, and that that may have been affecting his behavior and judgment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue on the story here. He claims the dentist essentially abandoned Ye, withdrawing his care abruptly without a proper transition when he saw negative consequences of Ye's nitrous oxide dependency. So it's sounding like Ye probably had an issue with this particular thing and got into it a little bit too much, and that may have been due to using that improperly. And he's alleging that this dentist was either encouraging that or giving him the ability to do that. So that's pretty unfortunate because when you are a licensed, if this person is a licensed um, dentist, you should be only administering those things as needed, and it should be done properly and with the care of the patient who's receiving it in mind. So if that is not what's taking place here, that is unfortunate. Let's see a little bit more about what they're saying in the story here. Ye's attorney says he suffered from physical, psychological, and financial issues because of Dr. Connolly's negligence. They're also claiming Bianca Censori, Kanye's wife, was harmed in the process as well, losing out on Ye's companionship because of the addiction. So sounds like they are saying that his use of that, or improper use rather, of this nitrous oxide was causing an addiction, and that addiction was having an effect on his personal life, sure, on his business opportunities, as well as, with his co-parenting relationship that he has with Kim Kardashian, who's the mother to his 4 children. So yeah, that definitely has impacted his life in many ways. I'm sure he's lost out on a lot of money for his behavior and some of these comments that he's made out here recently, like on X. He causes a lot of viral and trending moments from the stuff he's saying on there, but it's all, for negative attention, not always for positive things. Let's see, we're told, and this is continued from the reporting on TMZ, we're told Connolly's been served with this letter already, and we've reached out for his response to it. We broke the story. Kanye's ex-chief of staff, Milo Yiannopoulos, went on to say Kanye talked about nitrous oxide nonstop in meetings, turning his mood unpredictable and his direction incomprehensible. Milo also claimed Connolly provided gas to Ye for money. Connolly fired back at the claims at the time, calling the allegations, quote, not only factually incorrect, but also intentionally misleading, end quote, and claiming Milo was only looking for attention. So let me know your thoughts on this story in the comments. I guess that adds another layer on to the story here with Kanye, because I did see this article on TMZ last year where his ex-chief of staff had wrote, I want to say, to the dental board that does licensing about his concerns about Kanye being given nitrous oxide and the impacts and the effects that it was having on him. But at the time, that wasn't acknowledged by Kanye, so I wasn't sure if that was true or not, or if that was just what this person was saying, trying to get attention. So it's sounding like, fast forwarding to now, there may be some truth to it. So we're going to keep an eye out on this story and see, as more information comes out, if and when the actual lawsuit is served. We'll bring that information to you here on Aries Rose TV. And now we're going to jump into our next story. So this one is from reporting from TMZ as well. It says Nick Cannon's baby mama drags his $10 million balls. So that title just caught my attention. So let's see what they're talking about over here. One of Nick Cannon's baby mamas is actually grateful he has insured his balls for $10 million, only because if he's not going to show up, at least his junk might finally do something useful. Alyssa Scott's throwing shade with a smile on her IG stories after revealing Nick hasn't seen their daughter in over a month. So if anything happens to his balls now, at least their child would get a payout. Alyssa's tone was dripping with sarcasm, and it definitely sounds like things have gotten strained between them. But honestly, it's not that surprising, especially with Nick juggling so many kids to catch up with. You probably have heard Nick's got 12 kids. Okay, so he has 12 kids with 6 different women, including Mariah Carey, and he has twins with Mariah Carey. And he confirmed on Thursday he had insured his well-traveled balls for 10 million, yes, 5 million apiece, which he said he'd do last year. Nick's also made it clear he's letting the Lord decide how many more little cannons are in the pipeline. Guess we'll just have to wait and see how many blessings or surprises are headed our way. We've reached out to Nick's reps for comments. So far, no word back. That's pretty funny. I didn't even know you could get that insured, but I guess you can insure anything. So I think that was a pretty funny comment there referencing the insurance on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. It sounds like it's a little bit challenging for Nick to be able to see his children on a regular basis, and I can understand that. If they're in 6 different homes, it's probably not easy to get there all the time or see them as frequently as you want to. Um, there are some I guess there are some effects that come along with maybe not just being with one person and having children, but having children with multiple people. But best wishes to all involved that they're able to work through anything and successfully co parent for the children's sake. But let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And now we're going to roll into Diddy, who has rejected a plea deal from federal prosecutors. So Diddy is currently locked up in MDC Metropolitan Detention Center. I want to say it's in Brooklyn, New York. And he has been in there since, I want to say, September of 2024 when he was arrested on federal charges. So he's attempted to get out on bail at least 3 times, and all 3 of those times were denied. And then his legal team attempted to get the trial put off for another couple months, saying that they didn't have enough time to go through discovery, and the prosecutors were pretty slow in giving them those items. So they needed more time to, be able to build a defense, see everything that's in there. But the judge denied that motion. So the trial is going to move forward, and the trial is going to move forward with a date of May 5th. And so it sounds like before it was going to go to trial, the prosecutors were offering Diddy a plea deal. This may be standard in the way that things work as far as these types of cases go, but we're going to get into the details here and see what's going on with this story. And this is reporting from TMZ. Diddy was back in court Thursday for one final hearing before his criminal trial, and he told the judge he rejected a plea deal presented to him by federal prosecutors. The Bad Boy Records founder strolled into a Manhattan courtroom wearing a tan jail's jumpsuit, looking gray and thin, and he waved to the public and media seated in the gallery before taking a seat at the defense table between 2 of his attorneys, Tinny Giergos and Brian Steele. Diddy was smiling and in good spirits, chatting with Tinny and Brian, and he was chummy and seemed unfazed by the upcoming trial. The judge asked Diddy if he rejected a written plea offer from the government, and Diddy replied, "Yes, I did." Diddy was also Diddy was also asked if he was aware he could potentially serve more time in prison if he's convicted than if he took the plea deal, and Diddy told the judge he understood the stakes. So it sounds like he believes in his innocence and is not willing to settle for taking some time and just getting lesser time. He's going to try and just get off completely, which makes me wonder what evidence he has or what things are going to come up in this trial to exonerate him. He feels the confidence not to take a plea deal from the prosecutors. Let's continue with the story. Well, we don't know what the prosecutors offer. Typically, they offer a sentence close to what the defendant would have received if, let's get this off. Typically, let me see. We'll start over. We don't know what the prosecutors offer. Typically, they offer a sentence close to what the defendant would receive if convicted. Commonly, they don't expect the defendant to accept the deal. Instead, prosecutors are guarding against grounds for appeal. If prosecutors didn't offer it, it could give Diddy a post-conviction argument that his attorneys didn't effectively represent his interests, and therefore he could get a new trial. Thursday's hearing also touched on jury selection, with the judge saying jury selection would begin Monday, May 5th at 8 a.m. sharp, with the goal of selecting a jury within 3 days. Diddy has pled not guilty to all 5 charges he's facing: 2 counts of trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in illegal adult behavior, and 1 count of racketeering. Prosecutors revealed last week that they offered Diddy a deal that was turned down, but this is the first time Diddy's acknowledged so himself. This may be the last time we see Diddy in a jail uniform. The judge is allowing him to wear button-down dress shirts, pants, and shoes without laces for his upcoming trial. So we're going to stay tuned and see what's going to go on with that. This Diddy situation has been looming really since Cassie filed her lawsuit in 2023 in November. That just kind of blew the lid off of everything. And then from there, just a flood of other lawsuits started coming. So there's so many lawsuits that were against Diddy. I honestly lost count. And then I want to say it was September of 2024, he was arrested while in New York. And now he's been in the MDC since then. So other than him coming to do the motions to come to the trials to try and get bail, or for maybe trying to see if he can get the case delayed by 2 months for when the trial is going to be heard. You haven't really seen too much or heard too much about Diddy. So once this trial begins and they start going to court regularly, expect some further updates with that trial, because we are definitely paying attention to see what goes on there. This was a huge case because it was just never thought that Diddy would be taken down, especially not in this manner. So all eyes are going to be on that courtroom come Monday, May 5th. So make sure, if you have not already done so, that you hit that subscription button and you join the Aries crew so you can find out every time I go live, upload videos, post shorts, and post on the community page, so you can stay up to date on everything that's going on with the Diddy trial, because we will definitely be bringing those updates to you here. And we got a pause for some comments. We got X Demon, I like your hair. Thank you so much. Appreciate the shout out. And then we're going to get into our last story for tonight. It's going to be about John Elway, the football legend. So I've seen some notifications come across about this person, and I wasn't paying attention too closely until I had seen that a friend who was also his agent, that was either in the car or cart that John Elway was driving, had passed away. So let's see what's going on with that. We're going to explore this story together so we can get a little bit more information on it. And let me know if you are going to check out the Thunderbolts. That's the latest movie that's going to be coming out, or is already out, with Marvel. And they're supposed to be like the new Avengers. So let me know if you are looking forward to that movie. I'm going to do a review on the channel for Thunderbolts, so keep an eye out for that as well. I'm going to try and do more movie reviews because I really love movies, scary movies in particular. So I want to come on, explore some things with you guys about stuff that I saw on something that really caught my attention. And if you haven't already done so, check out my review for Sinners. That movie is really good. Just recently came out with Michael B. Jordan, and Ryan Coogler is the director. So you can go on and see my thoughts on that and whether or not it's worth checking out that movie. And let's get into the story here from reporting from TMZ. So Jeff Sperbeck, John Elway, and John Elway is a football legend. I want to say he was a quarterback, and he had been so for quite some time, had a pretty good career. I don't follow football all that closely, but I do know he had a pretty good career and is pretty well respected and well known in the football sports world. So if you're into that, you probably know him. He's retired now, but he had played I want to say 90s, 2000s. I might be off on the timing. So if you are a sports fan, let me know. You know, John Elway's time, he was active in the NFL, but I know he definitely played in the NFL. We'll jump back to the story. Jeff Sperback, John Elway's longtime agent and friend, has died at the age of 62 years old, officials announced on Wednesday. Sperbeck's time of death was listed as 1:10 a.m. As we previously reported, Jeff was on life support following Saturday's accident where he suffered a traumatic brain injury after falling off a golf cart that John Elway was driving. So scary. You don't think of golf carts as being anything that you can potentially get hurt or lose your life from, but with no doors on them, assuming they had a cart that had like no doors, and you don't really have any window protection. If you fall out and you're not wearing something to protect your head, depending on what you hit, that can really do some damage. In this case, it looks like it was fatal. Let's see if we can get some more details from here on what occurred. We're told Elway, Spurback, their wives, and John's son were on their way back from a post-stagecoach party around 7 p.m. on April 26th when Jeff fell off the back of the cart, hitting his head on the ground and suffering a traumatic brain injury. So sad. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where all doctors could do was keep him on life support while they arranged to harvest his organs for donation. So it sounded like there wasn't even a chance that he may have been able to survive if they were just doing that. Police initially didn't respond to the scene. A majority of law enforcement were working the massive music festival nearby, but have since launched an investigation into the incident. As we previously reported, John was the one who made the 911 call in a frantic effort to save his friend. Elway and Spurback not only had a long-time working relationship, which started in the early 1990s, but later became business partners in winery and best buds. So we're definitely going to keep an eye out on this story. Very sad, and rest in peace to John Spurbeck, and best wishes to his family. Or excuse me, it may not be John. Let me get your name right here. Jeff Spurbeck. Rest in peace to Jeff, his family, and friends. A very challenging time. And definitely hope that they have people they can lean on to get through this. But we'll be following this story to see what comes from that. If there's any more information on the incident and or investigation, we will definitely come on and share it here with the Aries crew. If you have any stories that you'd like me to cover, leave them here in the comments. I can't do every story, but I'll definitely look into it. If it's something that we can do, we'll definitely be glad to do so. We will be back on tomorrow night to do a Friday night live show. Make sure you like the video as you come in or on your way out. Share the live out to family and friends. It's a free way to support the channel and it goes a long way. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and we will see you on Friday. Happy May. I hope you're having a beautiful start to this month. Let me know if your birthday is in May. I want to do some birthday shout outs on the live. So if your birthday is in May, at any time in May, let me know. We want to give you a happy early birthday, happy birthday if it's your birthday, or happy belated birthday if it's after. It's always a blessing to see another year, so we want to make sure we acknowledge that for our Aries crew members. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.